Hello everyone and welcome to our final episode in our What is Splunk webinar series, where we'll be building up your Splunk expertise one webinar at a time. So today we'll be covering off a fairly new innovation from Splunk, which is the Splunk Edge Hub, and is a really good way of bringing in any of your IoT data into your Splunk platform. Before we get started, I'm just going to give a little bit of a quick introduction. So hi, I'm Becca and I'm a technical consultant here at Sunford, and I've been working with Splunk for about 3.5 years now, and I've been working with Edge Hub since its early release from Splunk back in June 2023. So hopefully you are in a safe pair of hands this webinar. And this is kind of what we're going to be covering. So we're going to cover off what the Edge Hub is and what problems does it solve, what features the Edge Hub has, and is it compatible with your Splunk environment, why the Edge Hub matters and why you might be able to see value from the data that it brings in. We'll go the pros and cons of having an Edge Hub as part of your environment, and then what we'll do is we'll move on to a demo where we can show how this data that the Edge Hub brings in can translate into the valuable parts of your Splunk environment. So before we get started, I'm just going to give you a quick overview of what Splunk is and who Sunford are. So we are actually an elite partner of Splunk with the largest Splunk certified delivery team in EMEA. The Splunk itself is a universal machine data platform that can ingest any data, whether this be structured or unstructured, machine data generated by websites, applications, server networks, and mobile devices that produce data every second of the day. Splunk's mission is to make that machine data pool accessible across an organization by identifying data patterns, providing metrics, diagnosing problems, and providing intelligence for all sorts of business operations. So this is who Sunford are. As mentioned before, we are an elite partner of Splunk, but that is not just all we do. So at Sunford, we focus on delivering innovation across our customers' digital transformation journey. We work as a trusted partner with a range of vendors in order to help become part of our customers' team to deliver success. We aim to meet any single one of our customers' needs, and we have a strong focus on service quality and delivery for all on-prem, hybrid, and full cloud environments. Our partners include some of industry-leading technology providers in order to scope and apply interoperability between opportunities. This elite partner status that we have as with Splunk enables us to provide end-to-end delivery, design, implementation, and support throughout your entire journey with the product. We have a dedicated security cleared professional services team and a whole team of project managers keeping us all in line that are qualified in both Prince2 and Agile methodologies. As you can see here, we have a list of just some of the partners that we are kind of partnered with. So as you can see, we've got our Splunk list in here, but we do have a full range of partners alongside here that enables us to provide full delivery, design, implementation, and support. And it allows us to work with our customers in order to provide their standard operating procedures, business as usual transition, and centre of excellence creation. And here you can see just some of our customers that we've been working with in order to help achieve this success. You may recognise some of the logos on screen, but this just shows the wide range of industries and use cases we can cover. And now I'm going to move on to talking about the Edge Hub. So the Edge Hub is a way of being able to bring your IoT data into Splunk. This was brought in because it was established that bringing in this IoT data was historically a challenge for many businesses. So either they had a legacy system in place, or that data collection proved to be a bit of a challenge, but either way, it was getting that communication between those legacy systems and the data analytics platform in order to be able to see value from that. This could be maybe because it didn't understand the data, that data had a degree of kind of fragmentation within it, or it couldn't access it. This is where the Edge Hub came in, because Splunk saw that this was an issue across the IoT industry and wanted to create a solution that helped remove all of those issues and provide that observability with actionable insights for operational environment and how that is critical for any business resilience. So the Edge Hub aims to be easy setup with low cost and provides Edge AI to help generate insights from the data that it does collect. So essentially it does act as a way of being able to bring your data into Splunk, but it does have a range of sensors built into the hub itself in order to help you capture that data as well as being able to bring it in from those external sources. So within the Edge Hub itself, there is a light sensor, accelerometer, gyroscope, sound detector, pressure sensor, air quality, temperature and humidity sensor collection points. The Edge Hub is also Bluetooth enabled, so that although these are built-in sensors, there is the option to expand the range that the Edge Hub can cover through connecting other devices via Bluetooth. It also has connectivity libraries for MQTT, LoRa, Modbus, SNMP and OPC UA. So it essentially acts as a way of not only just being able to bring that data into Splunk for your external sensors as well, but it also has the added value of the hub itself does have that point of data collection as well. So you've got those two options. One, just to have your hub acting as your sole point of data collection, or connect it into a wider network where there are already methods of data collection in hand. So it covers a wide range from potentially those users that aren't collecting this level of IoT data yet. The Edge Hub not only provides that way of forwarding it in, but that way of collecting the data as well, or also being able to seamlessly integrate within a pre-existing network of sensors to be able to help build out that network and bring it into your Splunk environment. So there is some deployment requirements for your Edge Hub. So you do need to have the Splunk Secure Gateway, because this is how the hub connects with your Splunk infrastructure. There is the Operational Technology Intelligence app, which is available on Splunk Base, which is where we can help see that data, build up those dashboards and set up those external connections. And the Hackers, which was a way of bringing in that data via the Edge Hub and creating that bond with your Splunk environment. Although recently they have been able to produce a data streamer as part of the Edge Hub, but there is that dual method of being able to use both. So what's currently supported by the Edge Hub is a version 9.0 or higher in both your Splunk Enterprise standalone or clustered environment, and on Splunk Cloud it is Victoria Experience only at the moment. You'll also need to manually create some indexes to be able to put that data in. As mentioned before, the Edge Hub itself does have external protocols. So MQTT is a very common one used to collect IoT data, and the hub itself can act as a MQTT broker and point of collection where it connects to those MQTT devices, pulls it in, translates it, sets up the topics, and then bring those into your Splunk indexes. Also has a really good method of communicating with OPC UA and SNMP, as well as LoRa. So these are just the supported external protocols that are really easy to set up via the Edge Hub's advanced menu. There is also the option for containerization. So although we have mentioned a wide range of being able to collect those sense data, if there was something that didn't quite meet your environment's needs, or you needed to go for a more custom model, the option that the Edge Hub has in terms of supporting containerization can fully support that as well. So there's lots of methods, not just those ones currently built into the hub. So what's included in the box itself? So when you get your device, it is a physical piece of hardware, which is a bit something a little bit more different for Splunk, but here we are. And the documentation is included on that. So this is all that's found on the physical device. Is on the back of the box sleeve. You get all the information in terms of the asset number of your hub itself and the quick start guide. And then you get your hub itself, which is IP66 rated. These devices are built to withstand the rough environments that can sometimes be associated with that IoT data collection. They can survive up to -40 and up to 176 degrees Fahrenheit. And they have protection against dust, airborne particles, powerful jets of water, liquid, and drop impacts. So it's fully built to withstand those harsh environments as well. It also comes with a full range of accessories as well. So you do have an external temperature and humidity sensor, external sensor mounting pad, USB Type-C power cable and power adapter. So it is a very universal method of being able to connect it to power as well. So it does offer that interoperability with that alongside. It has a server rack with 2 mounting brackets, a mounting pack, all of which comes with the screws needed, and a USB Type-C adapter with regional connectors. So it covers a whole range of the globe in terms of what accessories are covered with it. This is the spec of the Edge Hub from a hardware perspective. This is subject to change as the Edge Hub itself evolved, but this is where we are as it stands. So it has 8 GB of RAM and 32 GB of SSD storage. It comes with vibrant color. The Edge Hub itself is actually touchscreen, so you can set up some config and see the data that is coming in via the touchscreen on the Edge Hub as well. The built-in sensors that we have already covered, the power, which all does come through USB-C, and also there is the option for cellular connectivity within some devices available upon request if it was in a zone that was particularly difficult to reach via your standard Wi-Fi connection. It's quite a small-sided device for the amount of power that it does hold, so it's able to fit in any environment without being able too much of an impact in terms of being able to utilize that space. So it's able to go pretty much anywhere and be a very discreet way of collecting that data, and weighs only 330 grams. So it's very kind of discreet and being able to fit in any environment without taking up a lot of that space. These are some of the example dashboards that we can see with an Edge Hub, and it's all how we can bring that IoT data into Splunk and help translate that into the power that that data can offer you. So I'm now going to move on to the demo section. So unfortunately, on a webinar, it is not too practical to be able to connect an Edge Hub out and give you guys all the chance to be able to have a play with it and see how that data is collected. So all I'm going to do today is I have an Edge Hub powered up next to me, and I'll be going through the Splunk operational technology app and show you how that Edge Hub stats kind of can change, how that can translate into different dashboards for different use cases, and how easy it is to set up those Edge Hubs within Splunk. So here is our operational technology app within Splunk, fully downloaded from Splunkbase, and is a way of being able to bring in all your OT intelligence stream from data from the Splunk Edge Hub, but also other data sources as well. So this is the start page of the app. As you can scroll down here, there are many partner-built solutions within these, which can be found on the Edge Hub website. And this start page is just all about introducing you to the hub as well. Quick links for the documentation about the Edge Hub OS hardware and the mobile app. And just a bit of an introduction to the Edge Hub itself. If we just go down here, we can see the Edge Hub devices. So at the moment, I can see that I have currently 4 Edge Hubs feeding into my environment. And how I've got these Edge Hubs to connect into is that I have downloaded the Splunk mobile app onto a mobile device, and I've connected it via that through the Splunk Space Bridge to be able to communicate with my environment. So at that point, although the Splunk Edge Hub is actually an external piece of hardware separate to my Splunk environment, it can then be fully integrated via the Splunk Space Bridge, which is a secure connection, and act as a method of forwarding that data in. And this has all been able to achieve via the Space Bridge that has been set up as that secure connection between the hub and Splunk. And although it is a remote piece of hardware that can be many miles away from my Splunk instance, I do have that ability to completely control it remotely as well. So as we can see here, I do have 4 that are currently online. 3 that are online, and I have 1 that is classed as inactive. This is actually an Edge Hub that is currently powered off and disconnected, but we can still hear here that I have visibility, and that 22 minutes ago was when it was last checked to show that it didn't have that level of inactiveness. But if it was active and online, I can just click update available, and then it would just go up to the next piece of firmware without the need of me being able to go up and access the hub itself. So I have full control over each of my devices once that initial setup has been made via the mobile app. I then have the complete control of the settings of my app and the data ingestion rates. So as you can see here, this is how I'm getting my data in. So I've got all of the data that I might want to collect from my Edge Hub. So all of the sensor data, any anomaly detection, the health of my hub, the logs that my hub's bringing in, my OPC UA, Modbus and SNMP data. This each comes through a data stream between my hub and my environment. And I can set these up. I can set these up to be different MQTT topics. This is all my way of bringing that data in. So I've talked a lot about what the hub is and how it brings that data in, but how is that data going to be valuable to you? So although IoT data is a little bit more of a perceived difficult and more historically challenging area of being able to bring your data in to your environment, it is still of a lot of value. I'm just going to go through some of the dashboards here to show how that can be translated into a high degree of value within your environment. So as we can see here, when I log in, I can have visibility over my Edge Hub itself. I can see that their network connectivity status, they've all been up, and I can translate this between the different hubs as well, so a full degree of fleet management alongside that. My CPU temp, utilization, disk memory, so this all relates to just my hub itself. I can then go and see the live sensor data. All I need to go here is then go and select one of the active hubs. So as you can see here, every single hub that is marked as active within my environment then is shown on this menu. I'm just going to go and pick a hub at random, which is this one here. And then it gives me a live real-time view into what that hub environment is like at the moment. So this will, as this is just using the sensors that are included within my hub, it will give me a very good representation of what environment the hub is like at this moment. So as we can see here, there is not much movement between the accelerometer, which suggests that the Edge Hub is currently stationary. Same with the gyroscope, not much movement, very stationary Edge Hub as well. We have the sound decibels, which is at a constant rate as well. But as you can see here, it has been going up and down as I have been talking. I can then see the internal and internal temperature. My external temperature has been disconnected, so that's why that one's not being shown. It doesn't show us an error message, it just says that there are no results found, and just purely because that particular sensor is currently disconnected. I can see that temperature over time. The humidity within the room that it is, which peaked a little bit around 20 to 4. And as you can see here, all of these has been disconnected, and any potential sensors that are not currently connected will just show as no results. It will not error at all. I can see my CO2 levels as well. So there's a lot of information that this Edge Hub is gathering just purely based on those internal sensors itself, let alone without starting to connect external ones. I then have the option to flick between the different sensors, and I can see each of the different Edge Hubs in its own environment. And if I had them spaced out, I'd be able to work out where it was. Prime example one is that if I had one in a more shaded environment, it would have a lower light one than if it was next to a window. So I can very clearly see what's going on over there as well. So this is the kind of level of data that it can bring in. But it might be thinking this is all well and good telling me what my environment's like, but how does that actually translate into a usable use case? And I have some examples to show you here. So the first one we're going to go through is a retail template of what an environmental dashboard showing our retail environment can look like. So we're just going to go and have a look at our retail store metrics. So when we start off the dashboard, it looks a little bit like this. All well and good. Not got all my data loaded. So all I'm going to go and do is select my Edge Hub, and I'm going to select this one here as my Edge Hub that I want to use to detect that potential current area of the store. So I can see the current stats within my retail environments. If it was in a particular area of the shop, I can then see that the sound level at this one is this much, the ECO2 levels, the light, the humidity, and the temperature. It's giving me that status on how that environment is currently looking. I can then see how this directly corresponds to my customer traffic. So for example, if my temperature was a lot higher, I can then see that, oh, it is a bit warm and that my customer dwell time has gone down a lot lower. So I can see that how that temperature is directly corresponding to that dwell time. This can also be brought in as well as you can connect, for example, a camera to the Edge Hub, which uses AI and people recognition to see how many people are in an area at one time. So by being able to bring in how many people in a certain area and the temperature of that certain area, I can see how one access affects the other. So I've got all of my environmental data coming in and how this relates to my customer traffic. Then I can also bring in certain other information, i.e. using one of my external sensor protocols to be able to see how my store is doing in terms of its POS, the card readers, security, and Wi-Fi levels. So this is all other forms of data that I can use my Edge Hub to bring in, and I can create that complete overview of what my store is currently looking like, down to even the temperature, customer dwell time, and my store system. So I'm getting that complete single pane of glass visibility over a certain area, all through data that I can be bringing in through the Edge Hub. So it just shows the complete visibility that it can offer you. So this is just an example of a retail one. If we also went through manufacturing, I can then go and see how this would affect a example of a manufacturing environment. This can be really crucial to collect your IoT data in, because by being able to monitor the certain vibrations or the acceleration or the gyroscopic activity of a particular moving part, I can then implement that to see what is normal for that current piece of machinery. And then by being able to determine what is a state of normality for it, I can see potential issues that might result in it changing. So for example, a slight change in vibration might seem like nothing, but it could also indicate a potential part breaking down, a slowly wearing away of particular materials, and then all once brought into my Splunk environment, I can complete visibility over exactly what's going on, and what might just be seen as a slight change in noise, but when coupled with actually this change in the vibration as well, can help me use that predictive skills to be able to introduce predictive maintenance into my environment. So I can then, once I've predicted that a fault is going to happen, I can then choose my maintenance windows, order parts before it actually results in breaking. So it moves your level of response from just being reactive when there actually is a problem happening to being proactive, to being able to know when that issue could occur and being able to have the right arrangements in place to make sure that that has minimal impact along your manufacturing process. So as we can see here, I've got each of these circles represents a sensor on each of these moving parts. And I can see here that how that corresponds to my execution rate and the different assembly details within each of those moving parts. So as I can see here, got a steady level of vibration, quite a high degree of pressure and CO2. And we can see here that there is something going down a little bit more, but that can level off. So it could indicate that there is a potential problem going down. And then also got a record of each of my incident reports and how that correlates, so I can see that behavioural pattern over a long period of time to help me implement that predictive maintenance and monitoring. So it's all about being able to help me provide that complete visibility over my environment, very similar to how Splunk helps you in terms of not just the physical world, but in terms of your IT-based data as well. So it's bringing that power that the Splunk platform can offer you and just shifting it to being able to bring your IoT data into that and making it become a lot more accessible. I'm just going to have a look at my data center template a little bit more quickly. This can be a really good example of where the levels of the environment can have a very critical impact on the machinery. You can see here that I have each of these corresponds to a different moving point, and I can see a lot more information here and how that can translate, being able to provide me with that full visibility over my data center to be able to act quickly to make sure that there is no ongoing damage through raised temperatures, increased humidity, etc. So 3 very different use cases here of where being able to provide that insight gives me that good visibility into my current environment and helps that what insight that data can provide can help with that future growth, predictive maintenance, and being able to create those conclusions that this data could offer you. So I'm now just going to go and cover off some more resources. So I have covered everything that the Edge Hub is. If you want to know anything in a little bit more detail, please feel free to reach out. The Edge Hub is just a drop in the ocean and being able of what it can help you achieve. It's just a way of being able to bring that IoT data into Splunk seamlessly, and the value that IoT data can offer you really is endless. So this is where you can go for a little bit more information. So if you are currently a Splunk customer and looking to go to Splunk Cloud, or not a Splunk customer and looking to bring up Splunk Cloud as your way of becoming part of the Splunk community, we offer a cloud migration assessment where we can go in, look at your own environment and see how this can evaluate into a migration to Splunk Cloud, and provide you with that roadmap in terms of best practices and milestones in order to get you from where you are to where you want to be. If there are any questions, we would really love to hear from you, and if you could just enter those questions into the chat box, we will get back to you with the answers. But yeah, I really hope you've had a good time learning about all things Edge Hub today. It has been very much of a whistle-stop tour, but I think the key fundamental pillars I want you to take away from today is that Edge Hub is a way of being able to bring your IoT data into Splunk seamlessly, so we can help harness the power that IoT data can offer you. So we have the inbuilt sensors that the Edge Hub provides, and also those connectivity libraries through wider methods of data collection. So Edge Hub really is the full package in being able to help any stage along your transition to IoT data become part of your Splunk infrastructure. Yeah, thank you for listening today. I hope you've managed to learn something, and if there are any questions, please put them in the chat box. So just a bit of a wrap up and where to go for some more information. So if you are a current Splunk customer looking to make the move to Splunk Cloud, or just a newbie into Splunk looking to see how Splunk Cloud can help you start off your Splunk journey, we do offer the Splunk Cloud Migration Assessment, which will help you evaluate and determine your on-premise Splunk installation and how that can translate into a migration for Splunk Cloud. The analysis that we perform as part of this assessment provides you with a roadmap of where you are now in terms of and helping you get to where you want to be in accordance with those best practices and milestones Splunk set out. And if you do have any questions about what we've covered off today, please type them into the chat box and we will get back to you with the answers. I do appreciate it has been a bit of a whistle-stop tour today in terms of covering Edge Hub, but I think the key things I'd like you to take away from today is that Edge Hub is that now seamless method of being able to collect your IoT data and help bring that into Splunk, whether that be through the sensors that are embedded into the Edge Hub or the wider connectivity libraries that the Edge Hub can connect with, such as MQTT, OPC UA, SNMP, LoRa. It's just a very universal method for anyone upon that IoT journey to be able to bring that data into their Splunk environment and really help see the value in that data. But yeah, I do hope that you've been able to learn something from today's workshop. And if there are any questions, please feel free to pop them in the chat box. But I hope you have had a great time on today's webinar. And thank you.